What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Jay Debates. I'm your host. I go by the name of Jay, and we are now on to episode 27. Whatever platform you're on, make sure you're showing love. Like, comment, subscribe, review, get notified, follow, all that. If you missed episode 26, go back and check it out. It's titled, Is Chris Paul a top 5 point guard of all time? In that episode, we discussed the historic career of CP3, looked at his stats, his accolades, and his shortcomings throughout his career, the good and the bad, and ultimately, of course, came to a decision. Now, let's get into the announcement. I've been saying on my previous episodes, I have an announcement coming, and that announcement is finally here. The official Jay Debates website is now up and running. In this website, you will find different podcast platform links. For example, Apple or Spotify. Soon you will see blogs in the blogs tab, which will simply be the transcribed versions of these episodes. And you will find clothing. Everything from t-shirts to sweatshirts to hoodies to hats to sweatpants and crop tops as well for the ladies is now available on my new website right now. So make sure you tap in and show love at jdebates.com. Literally the name of this show.com. This is why I've been gone for the past 4 days, because I've literally been working tirelessly building this page from the ground up, testing it, and making sure it's running smoothly for my visitors and my supporters. If you have any questions, anything you need to reach out, you can do so at the number that's listed on the website, or you can also reach me at jdebates1@yahoo.com. Getting into episode 27 and piggybacking off of episode 26, the question for episode 27 is, who is the greatest point guard of all time? Again, who is the greatest point guard of all time? While there are several notable all-time greats at this position, there are two players that have been pretty much neck and neck in terms of greatness and in terms of that number one all-time spot. The two players I'm talking about are Magic Johnson and Steph Curry. These two both transcended the game in their own unique ways, with Magic being one of the first, if not the first, ever point guard at the rare height of 6'9". This may not be rare in today's game, but back then it was unheard of. In fact, when Magic first entered the league, the average height of a point guard was about 6'2", and the average height of a center was 6'10". Therefore, Magic at 6'9" was essentially a point guard in a center's body. With his sharp IQ, reliable handles, break starting ability, and passing ability as if he had eyes in the back of his head, Magic walked so that players like Luka Doncic, Kevin Durant, and LeBron James could run. I almost slipped up and said Ben Simmons, but that would have probably got my channel unsubscribed and blocked, and rightfully so. So I'm going to sit him out for this one. Candidate number 2, Steph Curry, on the other hand, literally changed the way the game of basketball is played to this day with his unreal shooting ability. Before Steph, everything from the offensive focus to the tempo to scoring was at this point otherworldly until he took the league by storm. One of the most consistent sayings I remember hearing regarding the game of basketball growing up before prime Steph was, live by the three, die by the three. And funny enough, nowadays it's more like live by the three and die by not living by the three. Steph is to blame for this transition. Whether or not you see it as a good thing, that's totally up to you. But you can't knock the legacy and impact that Steph Curry has brought to the game. So, which one of these all-time greats is the all-time great in terms of point guards? Let's look at each player's case and decide. My decision will be based on offense, stats, defense, accolades, and winning ability. So let's get it. Starting with the babyface assassin Steph Curry. I'm pretty sure everybody knows this, but in case you don't, he is the best shooter ever. It's not debatable. Aside from transcending an entire era of NBA basketball through a jump shot, he has the accolades to prove it. Steph is one of only 9 players in NBA history in the 50-40-90 club. He holds the highest career free throw percentage. He's led the league in three-pointers made 8 times, the most in league history. He has the record for most threes made in a season, which has been the result of him breaking his own record for 3 different seasons. And Steph Curry holds the NBA record for career three-pointers made. I could go on and on about why Steph is the greatest shooter ever, but he has proven this to such a degree that there's no point of elaborating any further on his shooting ability because it's first-hand knowledge. Just know, when it comes to shooting, Steph has that edge over Magic, and hell, over any other human being to ever walk the earth for that matter. For his career, he averages 25 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists. One of only 4 point guards in league history to average those types of numbers across the board. His 25 career points per game specifically is 5th all-time for point guards. Besides his signature shooting contributions offensively, Curry simply demands attention by being on a basketball court. In terms of offense, his shooting ability overshadows so many other all-time great skills that he has. He's a ridiculously underrated finisher in the paint. Whether it's the high underhand floater or the finesse and soft touch off the glass on tough lays, getting to the rack and finishing is one of Steph's specialties on offense. Also, Steph's ability to move without the basketball attracts defensive attention like no other, which creates valuable opportunities for other players on his team. He is one of the best, if not the best, off-ball player of all time. Think about it. Other than Jordan against the Bad Boys, there has not been a basketball player more consistently focused on than Steph Curry, who's literally picked up the second he crosses half court on most occasions. Everyone knows about his shot. He's the top priority of every defense. And yet he still has managed to make 4 3-pointers for his career per game on almost 43% shooting. While Curry's career 6 assists per game isn't anything special for a point guard, the amount of points Curry is responsible for and generates simply by being on the floor is a stat in its own that cannot be recorded, but shouldn't be discounted either. Looking at defense, he's never made an All-NBA defensive team, and it simply isn't Curry's specialty. Curry was often picked on early in his career due to being undersized. Steph said in an interview with the San Francisco Chronicle that he was only 172 pounds when he first entered the league. Not having the size or strength to fight on defense often led to Steph becoming a target on the other end of the floor as well. But not so much a target for his strength, like on offense, his strength of shooting, but more so a target for his weakness on defense. So, while Steph will never go down as a great defender for his career, on the positive side, he's certainly improved in this area, as he would go on to gain roughly 30 pounds of pure muscle and bulk up since his rookie year, meaning he couldn't get pushed around so easily anymore. Once he gained this strength, Steph became a solid defender who could even hold his own when switching screens and having to guard the bigger, taller positions. Statistically, Curry averages 1.5 steals per game, which is well above average. He also led the league in steals in 2016. Looking at Curry's accolades, Steph is he is a one-time Finals MVP, 4-time All-NBA first teamer, 10-time total All-NBA player, 2-time scoring champion, 1-time steals champion, and a 2-time league MVP, including one of these MVPs being the only unanimous MVP ever. He has the second most MVPs ever for a point guard and the third highest career finals average for a point guard at 27 points per game. As far as winning ability goes, Steph is one of the most accomplished players, let alone point guards, ever. He's a 4-time champion and is the leader of one of the most dominant dynasties ever, the Golden State Warriors. Behind Curry, the Warriors went to 5 straight NBA Finals and won 4 championships in 8 years, a feat that only 4 other teams in NBA history have ever accomplished. Despite playing in nearly 1,000 NBA games, Steph has won about 65% of his career games, 6th all time for point guards who've played at least 800 games. Lastly, to close out Curry's insanely good case for the GOAT PG, in the 2015-16 season, his Warriors achieved the greatest record in league history at 73-9. They beat Jordan's Bulls record of 72-10 and are still to this day the only team to lose less than 10 games in an 82-game season. Now, looking at Magic. Although he wasn't the best shooter ever, hell, we just got done talking about that guy. What Magic was one of the best passers ever. John Stockton may, and the key word here is may, have Magic beat for this title. But without a doubt, Magic is a strong contender for it and most likely the favorite for this title of the best passer ever. Aside from leading the league in assisting in nearly 5 straight seasons, Magic is the only player in NBA history to record 10,000 assists in less than 1,000 games. He accomplished this in 907 games to be specific. The next closest player to accomplish 10,000 assists in the fewest amount of games is Steve Nash at 1,217 games played. Let that sink in. The next closest player to Magic Johnson to accomplish 10,000 assists in their career is Steve Nash. And he's not no slouch, but it still took him over 300 games in order to make it happen. Think about that. 310 games specifically. It took him to reach that same 10,000 marker that Magic reached. Considering this, it's no shocker. Magic also averages the most assists per game in league history for his career. Magic's ability to rack up countless dimes in such short time is why I consider him the best passer ever, despite Stockton's impressive resume for this title. For his career, he averaged 19.5 points, 7 rebounds, and 11 assists. A near triple-double average. Speaking of triple-doubles, Magic has the third highest total in NBA history at 138. Only him and Nikola Jokic have recorded at least 130 triple-doubles in less than 1,000 games. I already mentioned Magic averages the most assists ever, regardless of position. But he also averages the second most rebounds ever for a point guard, narrowly behind Oscar Robertson. He also shot 52% from the field for his career, the highest ever for a point guard with at least 10,000 field goals attempted. I think that's insane. Also, taking all those shots. I mean, the more shots you take, the more likely you are to have a lower shooting percentage throughout your career. Simply didn't matter with Magic. He still shot above 500. Defensively, it's where things take a turn for Magic, however. He was nothing more than an average defender, even for his era where hand checking was allowed and sagging off players was much more acceptable and condoned compared to this new era we're in, where damn near everyone can and will shoot the ball if given the space. Magic was slow laterally, which is basically shuffling your feet sideways. He was slow laterally, which is what caused him to not be a good perimeter defender. But he still managed to lead the league in steals twice, which is something only 8 other players have ever done. In fact, Magic has the 11th highest steals per game average amongst point guards. Don't get me wrong. He racked up most of these steals by gambling with playing the passing lanes, which sometimes led to opposing teams scoring easy buckets. But Magic definitely contributed defensively by forcing turnovers in this way. You take the good with the bad. So that's that. For accolades, Magic is a 9-time All-NBA first teamer, tied third most for point guards all time. He's a 10-time total All-NBA player, tied 5th most for point guards, a 3-time MVP, the most ever for a point guard, a 4-time assist champ, 2-time steals champ, 5-time NBA champ, and 3-time finals MVP, which is again the most ever for a point guard. Lastly, the winning ability of Magic Johnson was truly ridiculous. Remember what I said about the Warriors going to 5 straight NBA finals and winning 4 chips in 8 years being something that only 4 other teams accomplished? Magic's Lakers is one of those 4 teams. Magic was the leader of a dynasty as well. Not discrediting the greatness of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, but the year Kareem joined the Lakers, they finished 40-42 and only won 50-plus games and went to the conference finals one time during the 4-year span he played for the Lakers before Magic came along. When rookie Magic came to the Lakers, they won 60 games and would go on to win a championship that made Magic the youngest finals MVP ever. He would go on to win 5 total championships in just 13 years of playing. He holds the highest career winning percentage of all players who have played at least 900 games and has never had a losing season nor a season where his team won less than 53 games. And this is his entire career we're talking about. Lastly, in Magic's 13-year career as a pro, his Lakers only missed the NBA Finals 4 times. This is what I mean by ridiculous. So, now that both of these two have been discussed, it's of course time to decide who is the best point guard of all time. Comparing the offense, Steph is without a doubt the greatest shooter ever, while Magic is arguably the greatest passer ever. Steph scored more points on average and is altogether responsible for more team points because of his scoring, assisting, and threatening presence, which opens opportunities up for teammates. Magic was a good scorer and great passer, but I have to give the offensive category to Steph. Statistically, Steph averaged more points, less turnovers, and shot a higher 3-point percentage than Magic. But Magic averaged more assists, rebounds, and steals. Not to mention, he shot a better field goal percentage than Steph. Magic dominated the game in multiple categories statistically and was a triple-double threat every time he stepped onto the court. So, I give the stats category to Magic. Defensively, neither point guard is or was anything special. Magic did lead the league in steals multiple seasons and was never bullied like young Steph was due to his height and weight. Steph led the league in steals once and would go on to be a solid perimeter defender in an era where it's harder to play defense and contains much more skilled scorers. Because of this, I give Steph the slight edge over Magic for defense. Steph's most notable accolades are being a 4-time champ, 1-time Finals MVP, 2-time season MVP, and 10-time All-NBA player. Magic is a 5-time champ, 3-time Finals MVP, 3-time season MVP, and 11-time All-NBA player. He literally one-upped Steph in every notable accolade except Finals MVPs, which he has 2 more of than Steph. So Magic easily wins this category. Lastly, for winning ability, Magic has the highest career winning percentage for any player who's played at least 900 games, while Steph and his Warriors have the best regular season record ever. Magic and Steph both won 4 championships in a span of 8 years, but the Warriors went to 5 straight finals, one more consecutively than Magic's Lakers. Magic, however, again only missed the finals 4 times in his entire career, never missed the playoffs, won a championship and Finals MVP in his rookie year, and won more championships in less time than Steph. So for this reason, Magic wins the winning ability category as well. Now, in the case of who the best point guard of all time is, I must say it is Magic Johnson. To be fair, to be honest, it's really not fair for a player as great as Steph Curry is to not be number 1 all time, but Magic was just different. Curry did beat Magic in both the offense and defense categories. For those reasons, I do consider Curry the better player of the two, but not the greater player. A player can be better than another player, but not greater, because comparing who's the better player doesn't factor in winning, and is based on things like stats, skill, and ability. When comparing greatness, however, it's more of a combination of every possible comparable basketball trait, with the most valuable traits being stats, accolades, and achievements. What I mean by achievements is winning. Magic not only has the better stats and accolades, but is undoubtedly the better winner out of the two. What stood out to me was Magic's ability to win as much as he did in as short a time as he did. To put it in perspective, we all know how great LeBron is, but even he is in year 21 and still searching for his 5th ring. I understand that Magic had Kareem, and Steph is one of only 3 players to ever win multiple championships without a top 75 all-time player. But the Lakers were not legit contenders until they got Magic. And Klay was one of the biggest snubs from that list outside of Kyrie Irving and Paul George. So there you have it. The verdict is in. This was a decision-changing episode. I really believed in my heart that Steph was the GOAT PG. Like, I believed it. But again, it's because I grew up during the Curry era, whatever you want to call it, when he really changed the game. I didn't come up and watch Magic play, I already knew that he was an all-time great. I already knew that he was one of them. I knew that. But I don't know, it hit different when you actually look into it more, do your research and stuff like that. So yes, this was a decision changing episode, but I refused to say it in the beginning because I felt like it would have been too obvious as far as my decision is concerned, considering again I am part of Steph's era. So I'm telling you now, and with that being said, I thank you guys for listening to the very end. Like, comment, subscribe. I don't care what platform you're on. Make sure you're being notified when I drop new content. Again, check out the new website, jadabase.com. This is Jadabase, and I'm out.